Hey there, folks, grab a coffee and settle in, because I've got a story that'll make your blood boil and your heart swell all at once. It's about a man named Tom Harper, a farmer from Willow Creek, Texas, who took on a power-hungry HOA and came out swinging. Picture this, a quiet morning, the kind where the sun's just peeking over the horizon, casting a golden glow across fields that have been in Tom's family for generations. That's where we start, with a man who thought his 40-acre farm was his sanctuary until a woman named Diane Kessler decided it was her playground. Tom was 60, the kind of guy who'd rather fix a tractor than scroll through a smartphone, with calloused hands and a stubborn streak wider than the Rio Grande. His land wasn't just dirt and barns. It was his dad's dreams, his granddad's sweat, a legacy built on decades of hard work. Two barns stood proud on that property, one packed with tools, the other housing his prized John Deere tractors, worth more than most folks' houses. He'd wave to neighbors, share a beer at the local diner, but when shiny new subdivisions started creeping in, Tom kept his distance. Those gated communities, with their cookie-cutter mansions and HOAs, felt like a different planet. Enter Diane Kessler, the new HOA president of Crestview Pines, the ritzy neighborhood that had sprung up next to Tom's farm. Diane was in her late 40s, all sharp blazers and sharper ambition, the kind of person who'd smile while twisting the knife. She wasn't just running an HOA, she was building an empire, and Tom's land was the jewel she wanted. See, Diane had this grand vision for a community park, picnic tables, jogging trails, the works, and she claimed a chunk of Tom's property was technically under HOA control. Never mind that Tom had deeds going back to the 1800s. Diane had a clipboard, a stack of fancy-looking papers, and a smirk that could curdle milk. It started innocently enough. One crisp fall day, Tom was mending a fence when Diane strutted up, heels sinking into the dirt, waving like she owned the place. "Mr. Harper," she called, voice all honey and steel, "I've got a proposal that'll make everyone happy." Tom wiped his hands on his jeans, squinting at her. "That's so." Diane launched into her pitch, gesturing at his barns like they were already hers. "This land's perfect for our park," she said, handing him a folder of maps and permits. "We've got approvals. You've got 2 weeks to clear out." Tom's stomach dropped. He flipped through her papers. They looked official, but something was off, like a bad check. "This is my land, ma'am," he said, voice low. "Been in my family since before your neighborhood was a twinkle in a developer's eye." Diane's smile tightened. "Produce your deeds, and we'll talk. Otherwise, cooperate, it'll save us all trouble." She spun on her heel and left, leaving Tom clutching those papers, anger simmering in his chest. That was the spark. Tom wasn't about to let some HOA suit steal his legacy. He dug out his family's deeds, drove to the county clerk's office, and called up his buddy Mike, a lawyer who'd seen it all. Mike took one look at Diane's documents and laughed. "These are faker than a $3 bill," he said, pointing out mismatched signatures and blurry maps. "Your land's yours, Tom. But this Diane, she's trouble. Get cameras, cover your bases." So Tom did. He set up motion sensor cameras around his barns, double-checked his property lines, and waited, knowing Diane wasn't the type to back off. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, Tom woke to the rumble of bulldozers. He stormed outside to find Diane, clipboard in hand, directing a crew near his barns. "What the hell's this?" he shouted. Diane barely blinked. "We're starting construction, Mr. Harper. You had your chance." Tom thrust his county-stamped deeds in her face. "This says you're trespassing. Get off my land." For a second, Diane's mask slipped, but she waved her papers like a shield. "Your records are outdated. Take it up with the city." Tom's blood boiled, but he held firm. "You've got 10 minutes before I call the sheriff." Diane scoffed, but when Tom pulled out his phone, she signaled her crew to pack up, her heels clicking furiously as she retreated. Round one to Tom, but he knew she'd be back. Things got uglier. Strange cars started cruising by his property, slowing down near the barns. One night, Tom found a letter taped to his door, Crestview Pines HOA letterhead, signed by Diane, claiming he was violating community standards and threatening legal action if he didn't tear down his barns. Tom laughed it off, but the stake's literal ones showed up next. Bright orange flags dotted his property line, with a sign reading Future Crestview Park. He called the sheriff, who ripped them out and warned Diane about trespassing. She played dumb, all preliminary surveys and clerical errors, but Tom wasn't buying it. Then came the night that changed everything. It was close to midnight, Tom fast asleep, when his dog Rusty's barking jolted him awake. A faint whiff of smoke hit his nose. Heart pounding, he grabbed a flashlight and ran outside and froze. His barns were an inferno, flames licking the sky, black smoke choking the air. Tools, tractors, years of work gone. Tom dialed 911, watching helplessly as firefighters battled the blaze. By dawn, the barns were ash, the damage easily $500,000. A firefighter pulled him aside, voice grim. This was no accident. We found traces of gasoline. Got cameras. Tom's blood ran cold. He raced to his laptop, pulled up the footage, and there it was, 11:45 p.m., a sleek SUV Diane's pulling up. Three masked figures stepped out, splashing liquid, tossing matches. The fire roared, and they vanished. Tom's hands shook. This wasn't just a land grab, it was war. He didn't waste time. By sunrise, Tom was at the sheriff's office, footage in hand. Sheriff Daniels watched the video, jaw tight. We'll bring her in. This is arson, plain and simple. Tom called Mike, who filed a lawsuit against Diane and the HOA. Arson, trespassing, the works. The community, silent for too long, started talking. Neighbors like Jenny, who'd been fined for planting roses instead of sod, and old man Carter, who'd gotten violation notices for his rusty mailbox, came forward. Diane's been bullying us for years, Jenny said. She runs this place like her personal kingdom. Their stories painted a picture. Diane wasn't just after Tom. She was drunk on power, using the HOA to bend everyone to her will. The trial was a spectacle. Willow Creek's courthouse hadn't seen this much buzz since the mayor's tax scandal. Diane sat there, all prim and proper, but her nervous glances betrayed her. Tom's lawyer, Mike, laid it out. The footage, crystal clear, showing Diane's SUV. Phone records linking her to one of the masked goons. Bank transfers that screamed payoff. Tom took the stand, voice steady but raw. This wasn't just my barns, he said. It was my life, my family's heart. She tried to burn it all down. Neighbors testified too, spilling years of Diane's dirty laundry fines, threats, forged documents. Diane's lawyers tried to spin it, painting Tom as a cranky old farmer blocking progress, but the jury wasn't fooled. After a single day, the verdict came, guilty. Diane got 7 years for arson and conspiracy. Her 2 hired thugs got 4 each. The HOA, complicit in letting her run wild, was slapped with a $1.2 million fine, payable to Tom. As Diane was cuffed, she shot Tom a look not defiance, just defeat. He didn't flinch. Justice tasted sweet. Tom used the money to rebuild stronger barns, better equipment. But it wasn't just about the farm. Crestview Pines changed. The HOA board was gutted, replaced by folks like Jenny, who wanted fairness, not control. They sent Tom a letter, a real apology, promising to do better. Neighbors started dropping by casseroles, tools, even a new pup to keep Rusty company. Tom's annual harvest party, once just family, became a community bash, kids running through the fields, laughter echoing under the stars. Standing on his porch one evening, coffee in hand, Tom watched the sunset paint his land gold. The scars were still there, but so was something new: hope, unity, a community that had learned to stand up. Diane's fire had tried to break him, but it only made him stronger, and it showed Willow Creek what happens when you fight for what's right. So what do you think? Was Tom's victory enough, or should the system crack down harder on HOAs gone rogue? Drop a comment. Share your stories. I know some of you have dealt with petty tyrants like Diane. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep talking about the fights that matter. This is your community, too.